Arnold Schwarzenegger made an endorsement of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, which isn't surprising if you've been following anything he's been doing or saying for the past, like, decade, you know? Not surprising at all. Isn't Arnie a Republican? He was a Republican governor, yeah, but he's not part of the MAGA movement, even a little bit. I don't really do endorsements. I'm not shy about sharing my views, but I hate politics and don't trust most politicians. I also understand that people want to hear from me because I'm not just a celebrity, I'm a former Republican governor. My time as governor taught me to love policy and ignore politics. I'm proud of the work I did to help clean up our air, create jobs, balance the budget, and make the biggest infrastructural investment in state history, and take the power from the politicians and give it back to the people when it came to redistricting process in our primaries in California. That's policy. It requires working with the other side, not insulting them to win your next election, and I know it isn't sexy to most people, but I love it when I can help make people's lives better with policies, like I still do through my institute at USC, where we fight for clean air and stripping the power from politicians who rig the system against the people. Let me be honest with you, I don't like either party right now. My Republicans have forgotten the beauty of the free market, driven up deficits, and rejected election results. Democrats aren't any better at dealing with deficits, and I worry about their local policies hurting our cities with increased crime. It is probably not a surprise that I hate politics more than ever, which, if you are a normal person who isn't addicted to this crap, you probably understand. I'm not a normal person, and I am addicted to this crap, but I do hate politics more than ever, so, you know. I want to tune out, but I can't, because rejecting the results of an election is as un-American as it gets. To someone like me who talks to people all over the world and still knows America is the shining city on a hill, calling America a trash can for the world is so unpatriotic it makes me furious. And I will always be an American before I am a Republican, which is why this week I'm voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I'm sharing it with all of you because I think there are a lot of you who feel like I do. You don't recognize our country, and you are right to be furious. For decades, we've talked about the national debt. For decades, we've talked about comprehensive immigration reform that secures the border while fixing our broken immigration system. And Washington does nothing. The problems just keep rolling, and we all keep getting angrier because the only people that benefit from the problems aren't you, the people. The only people who benefit from this crap are the politicians who prefer having talking points to win elections to the public service that will make America's lives better. It's just a game to them. But it is life for my fellow Americans. We should be pissed. But a candidate who won't respect your vote unless it is for him, a candidate who will send his followers to storm the Capitol while he watches with a Diet Coke, a candidate who has shown no ability to work to pass any policy besides a tax cut that helped his donors and other rich people like me but helped no one else, a candidate who thinks Americans who disagree with him are the bigger enemies than China, Russia, or North Korea, that won't solve our problems. I feel like he typed this out himself because in terms of its syntax, it's actually a little awkward to read at points. Like, this doesn't seem like it went through a PR firm, you know? It will just be 4 more years of bullshit with no results that make us angrier and angrier, more divided, more hateful. We need to close the door in this chapter of American history, and I know that former President Trump won't do that. He will divide, he will insult, he will find new ways to be more un-American than he has already been, and we, the people, will get nothing but more anger. That's enough reason for me to share my vote with all of you. I want to move forward as a country, even though I have plenty of disagreements with our platform, and I think the only way to do that is with Harris and Walz. Vote this week, turn the page, and put this junk behind us. And if you disagree with me, vote, because that's what we do as AmericansVote.org. Nice! Agreed, it feels very genuine. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It doesn't feel like very PR workshopped. So that's nice, you know. Obviously, he's still him. Not exactly woke leftist, but I guess that's kind of the unironically, like, it's kind of crazy that Kamala Harris went with touting the endorsement of Liz Cheney when Schwarzenegger is a much, much, much better example of, like, a neocon who didn't go with MAGA and is fed up with it, you know? Liz Cheney is made fun of by everyone. No one likes Liz Cheney at all. She's, frankly, a whiny little bitch, and her direct tie to politics is Dick Cheney, a massive piece of shit and war criminal who nobody defends or touts. People do like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know? Remember his video after January 6th? Yeah. He's been very anti-Trump for a while. It feels like they're dragging her around and nobody likes it. Why'd they pick her? Because the brain-dead, like, octogenarian consultants at the DNC are convinced that there's this giant contingent of, like, middle-of-the-road Republicans who still long for the good old days and are really, really concerned with who George W. Bush would endorse. Or George H.W. Bush, you know. Remember in 2016 when Schumer said, for every Democrat in the cities we lose, we'll pick up a suburban Republican or whatever? Yeah, that worked out really well. Vaush, respectfully, you're wrong about Cheney. People might not like her past policies, but a lot of right-leaning people, myself included, respect the fact that she was the sort of person to set her career on fire over principles. I feel like if you're the kind of person to respect Liz Cheney for not going along with the MAGA movement, you're already going to vote for Kamala Harris. And if you're not going to be appealed to. I don't think there's a large demographic of people that are in that position. Or if you are going to appeal to people like that, you should do it with people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, because Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't a PR nightmare, you know? Like, everyone makes fun of Liz Cheney. No one's going to do that with Schwarzenegger, right? With Schwarzenegger, it's like, well, what are you going to do? Run attack ads on him? Are you insane? Why would you do that? Yeah, burn your Terminator DVDs or whatever. Liz Cheney's a war hawk who said Democrats kill babies after they're born. Well, she's Liz Cheney, so she's a terrible person who had a spine once. Literally the only reason she didn't become a MAGA Republican is because of her father. That's literally it. Liz Cheney didn't like the fact that Donald Trump's new, like, populist wave, Tea Party-esque, like, you know, included a disavowal of neoconservatism and what Dick Cheney and George represented, you know? Yeah, sure, Hyperion 99. I understand that, but, like, I don't like Liz Cheney. She's just not a very likable person. Reminder that Liz Cheney voted with Trump more than Trump loyalists did. Like a huge amount, right? 89% with the average House Republican. I mean, she's not exactly Mitt Romney when it comes to, like, disavowing the MAGA movement or whatever, you know? Do you think the reason why Kamala has been so passive in her language is because she wants to avoid the same sexist treatment that Hillary got? I think that the people who are going to be sexist to Kamala Harris are going to be sexist to Kamala Harris. I don't necessarily think it's about passivity. Like, the problem with being, like, the victim of bigotry is that people will attach stereotypes to you literally no matter what you act like, right? Like, if you're a woman and you're passive, they'll make fun of you for that. If you're aggressive, they'll make fun of you for that. I understand that as a black woman, she needs to not come across... Like, the worst stereotype that she could be associated with would be one where she's, like, irrational and angry and super loud or whatever, because those are the accusations that black women get the most often and the racists could make the most headway with. But at the same time, like, I think the passivity isn't really serving her. To that extent, at the very least. I think that she's at her best when she's being snide. That attack she made against Donald Trump, where, about, like, people leaving his rally, it was really effective, and no one even went after her for it, because it was a good jab, and if the right, like, fearmongered over it, or not fearmongered, sorry, if they, like, whined about it too loudly, it'd be clear it was because it, like, struck a nerve with Trump, you know? Trump has obsessed over it for months, and it was true. She should do more to get under his skin. She's a black woman. It's easy for her. He's very racist and sexist.